The first time my father called my company a hobby, we were sitting at Sunday dinner. "So," he asked, "how's your little business going?" "It's doing well." He smiled politely. "That's nice. But when are you getting a real job?" My younger brother Daniel laughed. "I told you. Nobody makes money running a business from a laptop." The whole table chuckled. Even my mother smiled. It's good she's keeping herself busy. Busy. That was apparently what they thought I'd been doing for 6 years. Keeping busy. Meanwhile, Daniel had become the family's success story. Corporate banking, vice president by 32, tailored suits, luxury condo, company car. Every holiday, Dad proudly introduced him. "This is our son. He works for one of the biggest banks in the state." Then he'd point toward me. "And this is Emily. She's trying entrepreneurship." Trying. As if my company were a weekend project. Eventually, I stopped correcting them. The truth was very different. After leaving corporate finance, I started a private business advisory firm. At first, it was only me. 1 client became 5. 5 became 20. Eventually, banks began hiring us to restructure struggling commercial loans. We didn't advertise. Most of our clients came through referrals. Quiet work, confidential work, exactly how I preferred it. 3 years later, my company had expanded into financial restructuring. When businesses couldn't repay loans, banks called us first. Not because we were famous, because we solved problems. By 34, my firm managed hundreds of millions of dollars in commercial restructuring agreements. Almost nobody outside the industry knew my name. I liked it that way. One Monday morning, my operations director entered my office. "We've received another assignment." He handed me a confidential file. "The bank wants us to oversee the restructuring." I opened it. The client immediately caught my attention. Harper Commercial Group. I recognized the name, my father's construction company. I frowned. "There must be a mistake." "There isn't. The bank specifically requested your firm." I kept reading. The company had expanded too quickly. Cash flow problems, several delayed projects, millions in outstanding debt. The bank wanted a restructuring agreement. Without it, foreclosure proceedings would begin. I quietly closed the file. "Who approved this assignment?" "The Executive Credit Committee." "They specifically requested your signature before negotiations begin." I leaned back in my chair. For years, my parents believed I spent my days playing business. Now, one of the largest banks in the state wouldn't move forward without my approval. That Friday, my parents invited everyone over for dinner. Dad looked happier than usual. "Our bank is helping us reorganize the business." He smiled proudly. "They've assigned some outside consultants." Daniel laughed. "Hopefully they're better than those fake business coaches on YouTube." Everyone laughed. Dad looked at me. "You should sit in. You might actually learn something." I smiled politely. "I probably will." Daniel smirked. "Whoever they send." "They're probably real professionals." I quietly picked up my glass of water. "They usually are." The following Tuesday, the restructuring meeting was scheduled at the bank's headquarters. My parents arrived early. Daniel came straight from work. The executive conference room slowly filled with attorneys, credit officers, senior executives, and finally, the bank's regional president walked through the door. He smiled at everyone. "Thank you for coming. We're just waiting for one final person." Dad looked confused. "Who?" The president smiled. "The only consultant authorized to approve this restructuring. The conference room doors opened. Everyone turned. I walked inside. The conference room fell completely silent. My father stared at me. Daniel actually laughed. Good one. Did somebody invite Emily by mistake? No one answered. The regional bank president walked directly toward me. Good morning, Miss Carter. He extended his hand. We appreciate your firm's willingness to take this assignment. I smiled. Thank you. I'm happy to help. Then he turned toward everyone else. For those who haven't met her, this is Ms. Emily Carter, founder and CEO of Carter Financial Advisory, our lead restructuring consultant. Silence. Complete silence. Dad looked from the bank president back to me, then back again. I'm sorry. My daughter? The president smiled. Yes. Your daughter has led some of the largest commercial restructurings in the region. Daniel frowned. No. There must be another Emily Carter. The president chuckled. I'm afraid there isn't. He picked up a folder. Her firm has successfully restructured more than $850 million in commercial debt. Our executive committee specifically requested her. Daniel slowly leaned back in his chair. His face had gone completely pale. The credit officer opened a presentation. Before we begin, there is one procedural requirement. He slid a thick agreement across the conference table. Our credit committee unanimously approved the restructuring. However, it cannot become effective until Ms. Carter signs the authorization. The room became quiet again. Dad looked confused. What happens if she doesn't sign? The credit officer answered honestly. The restructuring expires. The bank immediately proceeds with legal recovery. That includes foreclosure proceedings on the company's secured assets. Nobody spoke. For the first time, my parents understood exactly why I had been invited. Everything depended on my signature. Mom looked at me. You've been doing this for how long? Almost 6 years. We thought you had a little consulting business. I know. Dad lowered his eyes. I kept calling it your hobby. You did. Daniel rubbed his forehead. I told everyone you worked from home because no company would hire you. You did. I didn't sound angry. I simply stated the truth. The regional president looked around the room. We'll step outside for a few minutes. This is clearly a family conversation. The executives quietly left. The conference room door closed. Only my family remained. Dad spoke first. I'm sorry. I judged your business because I couldn't understand it. I nodded. I know. Mom wiped away tears. We never asked what your company actually did. No. You didn't. Daniel looked embarrassed. I thought titles were everything. I thought being vice president at a bank meant I understood business. I smiled gently. It means you understand banking. It doesn't mean you understand entrepreneurship. He slowly nodded. I understand that now. Dad looked at the agreement. So, you really could refuse? I could. And we'd lose everything? Possibly. The room became silent once more. Dad took a deep breath. If that's what you decide, I won't blame you. I earned it. Those words caught me by surprise. For the first time, he wasn't making excuses. I picked up the pen. Everyone watched. Then I signed my name. The authorization became effective immediately. The restructuring was approved. The company was saved. Dad looked at me. You forgave us. I gently shook my head. No. I chose not to become the person who hurt me. There is a difference. As the executives returned, the regional president smiled. Excellent. We can move forward. Before the meeting ended, he looked toward my father. I should tell you something. Companies usually wait months for consultants with Ms. Carter's experience. We cleared our schedule because when she agrees to take a case, we know there's a solution. Dad quietly looked at me. For years, he had introduced me as the daughter with a hobby. Now, one of the largest banks in the state was introducing me as the expert everyone waited for. 3 months later, the restructuring